Hey guys, welcome back to another F1 Esports 2023-2024 season championship round 11. This is the penultimate round of the championship, so not many more chances in the championship for us to win it. And as of after Vegas, we are now leading the constructor championship. So that was an amazing race for me and myself and Barry, and for Ferrari in general. Getting the 1-2 with the pole, almost maximum points except for the fastest lap in the race, because obviously that's very hard to get. So yeah, we are now leading by around like 7 points, I believe, over Red Bull, and we got 2 races to go. So the pressure is now on us. We have something to lose now, and next round, this one, QATAR, probably not my favorite track of the year, to say the least. Everyone's pace was exactly the same from what we knew. There was very little to gain in the track like this, because being on maximum downforce, it's just everyone has a very similar setup. So it was just even more driver focused than the other tracks. So the gaps will be very, very tight in this qualifying session, as we are now doing Q1. I remember Q1 was not so smooth sailing for us. I remember that we both did a lap, and this lap doesn't even look that bad or too bad, and we both had to go out once again, if I remember correctly. Sorry, as Barry goes P1 with 20.2, which is not necessarily the fastest lap time, and I go P1 with this very similar, a 2.0. It's not great lap time, as you can see. After the bankers were P11 and P12, so we go out again, and all I needed was a small improvement, which I do get, just to be safe. We didn't want to risk going out in Q1, and get myself P10 there, through into Q2, and Barry actually invalidated his run, and he's P15. It doesn't show here, but he just about managed to pass Q1 and P15, which was very, very lucky, and thankfully so, because at these end stages of the championship, we cannot make mistakes, and especially going out in Q1 would be a huge, huge hit for us. But yeah, both Red Bulls through. I believe both Mercs through as well. So yeah, only one kick though. I think Brendan might have been out in Q1. So that's good for us in the constructors, because Kick is also very highly contender for in the championship. I think they're third at this point, I believe. So yeah, very, very close to us. And first lap of Q2, not the greatest lap, I think. Let me see what the lap time is. 0.027. I mean, it's okay, but not the greatest. I'm P11 after the bankers, which was crazy. All the pressure is on us right now, because I think Barry invalidated his first run, or something went wrong as well for his first run. So we are, both of us, outside of the top 10. So this is a very, very high pressure situation for us at the moment. In a track like QATAR, where invalidating is probably the easiest out of any track in the F1 game nowadays, and this qualifying session meant everything. So my heart rate and his heart rate were probably reaching close to the 180, 190 beats a minute, and I'm not joking. It's that bad, and so far the lap looking good. We're more than a 10th up, so we are very comfortably through, I think, if I just bring this lap home, which I'm doing a very good lap. I'm 170 up now with a 0.75 split, and I knew I don't need to risk. Last sector I took it very, very cautious. 180 up now, as Alfie goes P1 with a 0.9, Tom Manley goes P1 now with a 0.85, and we're looking to beat that. So I think this lap will be easily through. Very, very cautious, as you can see, not fighting the car at all, and just bringing it home with a 19.84. So P2, 1/10 behind Thomas, becomes P4, and look at the gaps. Thomas just did a very, very good lap there. I think he just sent it, I think. But myself and Barry, P4, P6. Jarno just about passing. But as you can see, Freddy out in Q2, P13, and that is huge, not just for the Constructors' Championship, but for the Drivers' Championship. And this is where Thomas and Barry, this is their chance to gain. This is the make or break race, where they can gain huge points on them. And yeah, let's hope we can get a good qualifying session here in Q3. And after the bankers, not too shabby. Myself P6, Barry P4, so decent delta to go with. But yeah, we know that we need to improve quite a bit if we want to fight for the top positions, and qualifying is important to an extent in F1 Esports, but not as important as Qatar. In Qatar, it's impossible to overtake. It's super hard because you have so much tire wear, so you really cannot push the tires, and engine temperature. Sorry, they're very high, and you just need to really lift and coast. You can't push the car 100% in the race, and so far the lap is not looking too bad. But as you can see, we missed completely that left-hander apex. I mean, that might have cost us 60 or 70 at least, which, yeah, not ideal scenario, but still a 6-7 split. It's okay-ish, but that left-hander really cost me a lot of lap time. But luckily, we do get a pretty good sector 3 here at the end, if I remember. Damn, today my English is not Englishing. Jesus, maybe brain is a bit tired. But Barry goes P1, myself down to P6. So, I mean, it's perfect position for Barry and Thomas, as I told you guys. This is their chance to gain points, and they've qualified P1 and P2. So, myself in P6 is a bit harder to work from. Maybe I can cause something in the race, but it's going to be very hard. And we have Josh and Tom Manley in between me and Barry to cause some trouble and help Freddy out. So this is the grid. Make sure to pause if you want to see the grid for today's race. Freddy P13, ourselves P1, P6. So perfect chance for us to score huge points, huge. So yeah, strategy today will be a soft hard because yeah, there's not much else I'm gonna do. Oh, I'm starting P5, sorry guys, because of Simon Weigang had a 3-place penalty. So we are starting P5 right behind Josh, and it's super important that I get past Josh in this first stint, because Josh is gonna work for Freddy. Like, if I'm Josh right now, I need to stay in front of the Ferrari of myself and undercut everyone and hold everyone up, you know, for Freddy's alternate strategy to work perfectly. And I knew that this could be a make or break position for myself and Josh. So we will definitely be fighting it very hard, as Barry and Thomas are P1 and P2 still on the medium tire. And that's because obviously our strategy here is for myself to pit a lap early, but like very early, like a lap where people wouldn't expect, and on paper is not very possible with the tire wear. So hopefully no one will pit with us, and then that means that Barry can on his in lap, which the lap after myself, is a faster in lap due to his medium tire instead of older softs. As Josh here gets past Thomas, very close battle between them. I'm surprised that they didn't crash or spin, because side by side in sector 3 is not something you really want to do in Qatar. But yeah, Thomas also opting for the mediums. They are a good tire, and they are almost the same pace as the soft. Maybe just lap 1 they're a little bit slower, but from lap 2 onwards they are just as fast, and they become actually faster after 4 or 5 laps. So the medium tire is the better tire to be in, but we don't care, because I'm gonna pit as early as I inhumanly possibly can, basically, and hopefully I can somehow save my tire enough to make it to the end of the race without risking a puncture, because getting a puncture would be game over for us. But yeah, so now nothing's gonna happen except for Josh diving it on Barry, because, you know, Josh, again, working for Freddy, really wants to make Barry's life as hard as possible, and I'm sure he will keep the pressure the whole race, no doubt about that. But that's, you know, fair racing. As we're now skipping to lap 5 here, Thomas and his mediums are starting to get very good, and that means same goes for Barry. And now Barry takes the lead of the race because Tom Manley is struggling on those soft tires, and Thomas is trying to find a way through Josh, but he just can't quite get past, and it's just so hard to pass in this, especially with the ERS that you just cannot save. It takes so many laps to save just a little bit of ERS, so once you use it, you better be sure that it's for a good cause, because you don't want to waste it. As now we're gonna skip to the next lap. Thomas, I don't know, just really wants to get that position for some reason. and rightfully so. He's going for it around the outside on those medium tires, way better tires at this point. You see Josh loses the car, but he pushes him wide. I don't remember if that was a penalty for Josh or not. I don't quite know, but anyway, Thomas gets through, and Josh, I mean, what I'm thinking now is, okay, it's been 2 laps that Thomas has pushed DRS on Josh. Surely Josh does not have much left, you know, so since I'm on almost 100, I'm gonna push, and I'm gonna make Josh use the remaining battery that he has left, and hopefully I can pass him on this really crucial position, as our straight-line speed seems to be very, very good as we get alongside, side by side into turn 1. No contact, of very good racing here, but here I remember Josh does push us wide a little bit. Yeah, I couldn't keep it on track, but there was NFA on that. I guess just very hard racing from both of us, and we just about get in front and keep P4. And this was huge, game-changing, because now, if he does want to pit early, he has to pit even earlier than me, and that's just not possible. I'm telling you, the lap I'm gonna pit is the earliest possible lap you can pit, and we're gonna do the exact same strategy as we did on Vegas. Pitting myself first, not pushing the outlap too much, because I don't want to break the DRS. I don't want Barry to come out and be too far out from me and potentially get attacked by someone. I'm just gonna do a safe, like, calm outlap, keep my tires as in best shape as possible, and hopefully have Barry come out right next to me or right behind me, and go from there. Once again, like Vegas, work together to keep the people behind, as we are lap 9 already pitting, as Simon Wagging smartfully, or yeah, I don't know if that's even a word, he follows me in, and that's perfect news for us, because that means it's another car in between us, that's going to help us defend from the chasing pack behind, especially because, you know, Simon is not really in the championship races contention, so he will do the best he can to defend, and he really wants a really good result, because I think they've been subject to a lot of bad luck this year. So I think for him, pitting lap 9 was the best call. Absolutely, I think he did the right strategy. And now I need to save tires, because I'm not going to make it to the end. Lap 9 is not something we were planning for during our practices and training, but I just knew this is what I had to do, and if I could pull this off, it was going to work. So now all I'm thinking is not put any stress on the tire, like slow down a little bit more, don't overturn the wheel, and you see how cautious I am. I'm not even pushing the limits of the track, so hopefully Simon can pass us and we can use his pace, so he's probably going to be pushing, to then stay with him and save my tires as much as I can. And the strategy is falling into place very nicely here. We just need to see where the other runners that are pitting now end up, how far behind us, in front of us maybe, but it's just, all I'm looking for is Barry being behind myself and Simon, and then it's textbook from there, to be honest. It's so hard to overtake in this track, so looking good so far. Not using much of my ERS at all, just letting the new tires do the job for me. I don't think Simon here is trying to pass. I think he's also saving some ERS and some tires. But as you can see here, the people in front of pitted, Barry is right alongside myself, and Simon just about passes. Is not the end of the world. I mean, Simon was most likely gonna pass if he stayed close to me, and he has warmer tires, which now Barry has very cold, so it's not the end of the world. We're gonna do exactly what we did in Vegas. Let what was in Vegas, Thomas, let Simon pass, so that we are P2 and P3, and then overtake Simon together to become P1, P2. And we just spent a few laps behind them now. Like, as you see, we cut 3 laps later. We were just saving our tires, because even lap 10 is early, like very early, so we just did our best to save as much as we could. And now is the chance for myself and Barry to both pass at the same time, but I knew Barry had better tires, so I wanted to let him go. And now it's just game over, to be honest. If we play it perfectly, this is the best position to be in. I'm gonna play the exact same game as Vegas. I'm gonna let the gap, let him do his own race, let him manage the tires, his ERS, and I'm just gonna focus on the people behind me and my ERS and my tire wear. As you can see, the gap is 6/10 to him. It's just a perfect gap to leave because I don't get dirty air. I keep the DRS, and Thomas just can't do anything, to be honest. I mean, for some reason it looked like we had a bit lower wing than most people, even though I thought we were on very high wings. But our straight line speed was just very, very good. And I remember many times Thomas trying to like push a little bit the ERS, but he just couldn't get close. And yeah, at the end of the straight, after a 6/10 gap, we get right behind him, and once again I'm gonna lift, save my tires, and create a big gap again. But Thomas, obviously, he's not stupid, so he knows this is what's going on, and he's gonna try and push me to get close to Barry and maybe cause some chaos. But his straight line speed is just not there, as you can see. He just cannot get side by side with us. So yeah, if we keep going like this, there's not much he can do unless he just finds a place to just send it down the inside, or I don't know. We shall see what happens. But yeah, Ruben Pedreño P5 on the much newer medium tire, but even though he's on a better tire and fresher, he also can't get past Simon. So it just shows how hard it is, especially with the ERS management, as we now are on lap 23, so 6 laps or so left, and Thomas is getting really close now. He's really pushing the ERS and the tires a bit more. He's just not happy with P3, of course. You know, he wants to win the Drivers' Championship, so he's obviously gonna push and try and pass me. But as you can see, he's on a 1/10 slipstream. Like, he's right up my gearbox, and he just can't. He can't get alongside, and me and Barry have to play defensive. We just go side by side through the first 2 corners and create a wall, which he just cannot get through, you know. So perfectly played by himself and me. Position was perfect as well, so I just need to be a bit more careful, because he starts to send down one day inside here, but I just have the better exit here and he just can't do anything. Yeah, I need to make sure that I keep doing what I'm doing, and we will be golden, especially because I knew that I had about 20 to 30% more ERS than Thomas throughout the whole second stint. So if he was using and I'm using, it's just gonna cancel out, and if he goes down to 0, I'm still gonna have 30% left. So yeah, everything was perfectly under control. But you can see Ruben is still P5, and no one can get past anyone, even if they pitted later. It's just too impossible. 7/10 gap to Barry, keeping the distance, saving my tires, because at this point my tires are already in the red, as you can see on the right hand side. I'm risking risk. Yeah, well, lovely. I'm risking puncture in this race, and I knew that was gonna be something that I had to you know, gamble, because you know, if I want to get a crazy result, this was the way, and hopefully I can manage to do it. But as you can see, Thomas is now trying different ways to pass me, and I have more ERS than him, better straight line speed, and I just pull away. As you can see, he can't fight. So yeah, I just need to defend the inside here, make sure he doesn't do anything too crazy, and yeah, perfectly defended. We have 2 laps to go, and this is looking like it's in the bag, really. At this point, I really felt like we could pull this off, and yeah, just one more lap, 8/10 gap to Barry's, saving my tires. Ruben still P5. Yeah, this must have been a very boring race. Well, actually, I saw that some things were happening in the back, but at least at the front, it was pretty boring and very, very long race. But in the end, with our management of the race worked perfectly, we get a back-to-back 1-2 for Scuderia Ferrari. Okay, a 1-2 has never happened for Ferrari before until Vegas, and now we got a back-to-back. So that was absolutely crazy. I dare I say, this is probably the best day in F1 Esports ever for a team. I mean, this is something unheard of, getting a back-to-back 1-2. Some teams get a 1-2 just once in the season, so in the whole season. So to do it back-to-back, especially towards the end of the championship, we really clutched it up, to be honest. And we just gained so many points on everyone. We are leading by 40 plus points, so it takes a miracle for this to happen, and thankfully we got it. Thomas P3, Freddie somehow getting P5, starting P13. That's very, very good race from him. But yeah, we gain a lot of points. Barry also is getting very close to the Drivers' Championship, as we're going to see here. Barry is only 16 points, so mathematically it's still possible. And very close to Thomas as well to maybe snatch the P2. And myself, P5, I'm up there. I can maybe snatch the P4 off of Jarno if I get a good result in the last race. But obviously I'm going to help Barry out and trying to keep the P5 for myself. But as you can see, guys, I don't know if you remember the team standings after Brazil, but we were P4 and it was not looking good. But 2 races later, this is the result. It just shows what can go on in these races. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next race. End of the season. Ciao, guys.